All right, let's start with the introduction. Yeah, I am André Scharmann. I said it already, consultant at MBI for WINPACCS for a long time, since 2009. And with me is Julia. She's working for Ärzte der Welt. And Julia, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, as you see on the slide, my organization name is Ärzte der Welt, the humanitarian organization. It's one of the chapter from Worldwide Médecins du Monde, or Doctors of the World. And we have their 17th chapter working over the world in different countries and doing projects, domestics and international. Maybe next slide. As Ärzte der Welt, MDM Germany chapter, we have domestic projects and own projects, and WINPACCS is implemented in our international projects from 2019, namely in Ukraine and Ethiopia. And here you can see some pictures when me as an HQ admin, I was doing training for our Ethiopia staff in February this year. So our system with WINPACCS is that every project, international project, has its own HQ administrator, and this administrator is in direct connection with WINPACCS support, and the field staff is a direct connection with the HQ administrator for whatever problems, solutions. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, now I'll take over again. Thank you, Julia, very much. And here are some facts and figures about WINPACCS accounting. WINPACCS accounting is where everything started, right? In 1987, the first version of PACS was introduced at GIZ. We heard it earlier this morning also. And since then, WINPACCS developed further, but project accounting is still there, and it's still the main core function of the whole WINPACCS system, I would say. WINPACCS accounting is used in projects in 166 countries. 35 organizations are using it, and there are 1,466 accountants worldwide using this tool. I found that amazing a little bit. It's a lot of people using this tool. And here is a picture of the whole WINPACCS system. So you'll find the WINPACCS Cloud on top with many, many different functions like the project management, controlling, things like that. And there's two tools that are not in WINPACCS Cloud because we think they need to be offline too. And this is Cashbook, a pre-entry system where you can pre-enter costs, let's say expenses and income of cash or bank books or even receivables, and then upload things to WINPACCS Cloud and then use that as a badge in WINPACCS accounting to post it. Finally, you can also directly post, of course, in WINPACCS accounting. So WINPACCS accounting allows you to post vouchers offline. It's not a part of WINPACCS Cloud, though it communicates with WINPACCS Cloud, downloads master data, and uploads postings. This is what it says. So it downloads master data from the project management with the master data of the projects, its project chart of accounts, budget lines, all things like that. And when postings are entered and one day closed, they are uploaded to WINPACCS Cloud to use them in controlling. All right. Now, WINPACCS accounting is certified. So you can expect an audit-proof system with WINPACCS accounting. So it's approved by a German lawyer, and the quote here is, WINPACCS enables accounting in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. That's really cool. We have many customers asking us when they have audits, is there a certificate? There is a certificate, and that makes the auditing much easier, right? You can ask for that, and we're happy to send it to you. Again, why is there project accounting? There are so many accounting tools. Why can't we use one of that for projects? And we believe this is a small list. I think you could think of more. But for today, let's say you are using the postings of project accounting in your main office. Maybe you need to have everything in one place, but it's entered in many different places. That's what is meant when I say central usage of project accounting data, the postings, but decentralized entry of postings at different locations. You saw the big number of accountants, big number of countries where it's used, but it's all collected in one place. We use various currencies in projects. Each project in a different country has a new currency, and we have to think and find a way how to calculate all these different currencies into the main currency of our customers. Difficulty here is our customers need to avoid gains and losses from rate differences, right? Because the losses are not covered by the donor, and if they gain money from that, they need to give it to the donor. So it's a big risk, and this is why we have to think carefully about how to deal with that. There are donor requirements, like they would not accept a report from your chart of accounts, but they have their budget line, so we need to take that into accounts. And another challenge is the level of education that we see. In some countries, our customers hardly find people who are familiar in depth with credit and debit and credit accounts. And so we need to find a way to still post audit proof, but not being familiar with that system of debit and credit accounts. And I think WINPACCS Accounting, as a proven software since many, many years, shows that we meet all these challenges, because otherwise it would not work that well. And don't want to talk that much about in theory with slides. We also wanted to show you some highlights of WINPACCS Accounting 4, and that's followed by a live demo. So I'll stop the presentation and change live to WINPACCS Accounting, which is here now. In WINPACCS Accounting, I'd like to show you the core functions, not going into all these details, but in the start menu where I am after I logged in, I'll find a currency that I used the last time, and I want to continue posting with that currency, saying in that journal again. And the first thing I wanted to show is a simple cost posting. Julia, would you show that?
I can show that.
This is the data maybe that we have prepared.
Yeah, thank you. So actually it's very easy. You need to go to New. And then here you can select the transaction category. In our case, and mostly in the cases, it will be costs. Then you need to select, in our case, it's on project.
On project is fine.
Yeah. Here you need to add the recipient. Then the date, if you are in the current month and the date of posting is also same month, then you can put today and it will come automatically. Yeah, for example, let's try. Yeah, we are in July. Yeah,
Little late, but
yeah.
For the presentation,
if not,
good
you
enough.
can enter it manually. Posting text. Then amount. What is our amount? Whatever.
10,600.
Yeah, then we need to select here the accounting code.
A cool feature that I like here a lot is if you're not familiar with the accounting code, you can search in the description.
Yeah.
Like, can you show that? If you click on that search function and you search for fuel on top where it says search, you just enter fuel, and it would give you as a result the accounts where you would post fuel. I like that a lot.
Yeah, but if you're familiar with accounting codes, then it's also very easy to start with entering, and it's automatically will
Right.
keep the correct account. Yeah, then paid from, you need to select here if it's bank or cash. In our case, it's petty cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
And office.
It's the first one. Let's say it's the first one.
Yeah. And here you can select the funding and the budget line. Is it
It's in 4
for
vehicle costs,
and
fuel, right?
Yeah. And if some other additional information needed, you can add it here. Order number, external invoice number, date of the invoice, contract number, and other.
Right. Maybe before you post, I can just take another look at the posting mask and what you did to reflect it, because I was speaking about the challenges and I said level of education is one of the challenges. And maybe you noticed we did not ask in this posting mask for debit and credit accounts, but we were asking what kind of transaction is that? And here's a list that provides different transactions. And if you understand this list, you can post very easy with WINPACCS accounting. This is actually what you need to know. What is fund supplies and what is cost, what is income? Some are self-explaining, some need some explanation, and that's mainly it. So this is why we say it's, even if you're not familiar with debit and credit accounts, you can learn using WINPACCS really easy. Second is donor requirements. When we post costs, you see you do not only select the accounts for your own accounting system when you transport it there, but we also have an additional account assignment where we select fundings. If there's a co-funding, different fundings for certain activities, you can use the funding selected here, and the budget line of that funding is also available. So you don't need to add this in another place, but your accountants can already select this and prepare everything for controlling right here.
Yeah. And maybe I can, in addition, said that if you are using cashbook, that then some information is coming from the cashbook in voucher batch, and then for accountant it's even easier. It's only about allocation. So the amount, the date, the accounting code is already coming from the cashier, and you need only to check and then to add additional information such as funding and budget line and whatever is else needed.
Right. And you're using this a lot at
Yes.
the Welt Cashbook? Cool.
Yes, we are still using, and we find this very useful. Yeah.
Very good.
It's also not easy to have one WINPACCS person, because if someone then gets sick, yeah, it's also good to separate duties and also to, this is our structure.
Very good. Very good.
So I can post, yeah?
Yeah. I think we wanted to show you one more thing from the postings. Maybe you noticed when we were posting the cost that the amount in Nepalese rupees, Julia entered this from a voucher, and the amount in company currency was calculated automatically, right? Like if we are still in cost of own project and she entered 10,600, we see this is like 73 euros and 46 cents. How is that? That's because there is an average rate in this journal for this currency, and this calculates from 10,600 rupees the amount of 73 euros. And how does that average rate develop? This develops in WINPACCS accounting by fund supply. When new funds are received in this journal, the average rate for this journal will develop in a certain way. And we would like to show you this also. And then you know all of the secrets of project accounting already, I think. Will you show that also, or should I?
Yeah, you can show it.
I show that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not cost that I post. Now I post the money, a new money that is received from the head office, was sent from the head office to this journal. Is there a question?
Yeah, interesting question to the voucher date.
To the voucher date? Yeah, go ahead.
Where was it? Is there a field for enter the date of payment? We answered it in the chat, but perhaps for others it's also interesting.
Thank you. Yeah. In project accounting, we follow the method of cash-based accounting, so it's not accrual accounting, meaning every posting here is a payment, actually. And that's why we think the voucher date is the date of the payment. But I understand that some of you need to show to the donor also the invoice date, and we can enter that if you need it here as an additional information. So voucher date is date of payment, and the date of the invoice is found in the additional information as invoice date. Is that answering the question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool, thanks for asking. So we come back to the second sample that we wanted to show you, and that is fund supply, the average rate, how to develop the average rate when new money comes in. And this transaction we call supply of funds, right? And supply of funds are divided by transaction types to the source where the money was sent. It could come from the head office or from another journal or another project, or even received locally from donors if they are on site and they give you the money in the project country and it's not flowing through the head office. We can also make that local. But we receive the money from the head office. By the way, you can customize this list. So for each project, even for each single journal, you could create your own list of transaction categories and transaction types so that you are not getting confused. If you don't need local income, you don't see that, right? If you never receive money from the head office, you would not see it. That makes things easier too. But we, let's say, receive money from the head office, and we would name the head office as the depositor. Once I entered head office, it's here by autocomplete. That's also nice, but not written well, so I better make it right this time. As Julia did, I just enter a day, and the period, month, and year are followed by the current accounting period that you can find here. We are a little late, Julia, yes, but for the presentation, we think it's fine. Maybe this is the second installment of project funds. And this time, the amount is different. And you see, I also need to enter not only the rupees, but the euros. And let's say we receive on our bank account 7,224,500 rupees. And this is because the head office was sending 50,000 euros. And information was sent from the head office to the project. We sent 50,000 euros. And when you selected the account, can only come into cash or bank. There's no other option. And if there's only one bank account, usual case, this is pre-selected already. And now take a look at the average rate. Now it's not only a rate that calculates, now we can see how the rate develops by looking into the old balances before we receive the new money. We have the old Nepalese rupees amount, 31,000. The new posting, we get another 7,220,000. So in total, now we have 7,256,000. That means in the old balance, the 31,000 rupees were 220 euros. Now we receive another 50,000 euros. So in total, after we've posted, we have 50,200 euros. The old rate was this. The rate of this posting is shown here. And we will use the total amounts, the new balance, and calculate the rate from the 7,256,000 rupees and 50,200 euros. And that's the new rate that we will continue to use for the next postings when we post costs or advance payments or anything. Right. We would get a notification if the variance is greater than expected. So if it's maybe greater than 10%, WINPACCS Accounting would ask, are you sure you want to post that? And so this is kind of security that things are not getting out of control here. Right, and that's it. You also select the funding, but here's no budget line because it's not costs. So you would know this money was received for the funds of EU. Right, and this is how you post it. Now, this is two standard postings, core functions of WINPACCS accounting that we wanted to show you. And Julia, you wanted to explain how you use WINPACCS accounting in addition to that postings and what you are doing, right?
Yeah, maybe we can show also something that will go to unsettled items.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So in case there is very nice option in WINPACCS, the unsettled items, where you can put payable and receivable, and it's very useful to manage that. Liabilities, they are very useful because you can then add this to the donor report, but pay later, yeah, and it will be ready for the report with currency and all additional information. And the deposit working advances, it's also very useful. Yeah, we are using this not only for working advance, but for example for advance for fuel. And in this case, it will be advance payment.
Mhm.
And then for example, and then again the date, and we can put here fuel for July 2024 and the amount, yeah. And then we are using this structure. In our case, we will transfer one amount for all cars and for monthly fuel. And then when the month is closed with the supplier will share the act of acceptance or delivery note with mentioning how much liters were actually refueled, yeah, by cars. And we will also add our logistic documents per car, and with this you can allocate for donor per car and per liters with a specification for cars and not general. So here we will use third-party receivables, then receivables from other third parties, yeah?
Yeah, the gas station is not a own account.
And then bank, yeah, can I use bank?
Yes.
In this type, yeah? And category, yeah. This is also configuration of organization. So in my case, in my organization, it looks differently, but here it's like that, and you can select how many days are possible. Yeah, let's imagine that it's for 1 month only.
So the receivable should be due in 30 days. That's what the category does, right? So you can calculate a due date and say, when do we expect this to be settled? After 1 month, right?
Yeah, and again, you can put whatever additional information. Now, this entry is automatically in unsettled items list. Here, we see it here. And at the end of the month, when we have all the documents per car with how many liters was used, we will do an entry with costs, but use not payment from the bank, but from unsettled items. Yeah. Can we show it, how it works? Yeah?
Maybe we can also use the digital vouchers just for the audience to see how it happens if we would add the receipt from the digital voucher.
And here we can mention the plate number of the car, for example, and the months of using, yeah. And according to our documents, for example, 56,000 and then was used for this car. Here we will put category of running costs vehicle, yeah, paid from, receivable from third parties, and here the list will appear of available unsettled, what was already entered before. You need to select, and here you can allocate per funding now.
And to attach the digital voucher, how would that work?
Sorry. Should I? Can I
maybe-
somehow move it?
Real quick, we remove that and make that
Yeah.
full screen.
And here you can add the digital voucher. This one?
This one. Just as a sample, right?
Yeah.
So that you would understand how that works. If you click on the voucher, you can see it in details on top, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And now we can post. What is also very useful in WINPACCS that you can segregate taxes. For example, VAT or withholding tax, depending on the country, there are different requirements, and some donors' requirements are also now telling us that we need to segregate VAT, even when we have no VAT exemption. But some donors ask us to show how much VAT was paid under this or that project in total. And it's very useful to segregate. With WINPACCS, it's very easy. You can just click. You can first integrate it in your system with settings, yeah, and then during the entry you need to click, and this will go automatically. You can maybe
Do you have a sample for this? Like if there was withholding tax or something?
something. It could be
Mhm.
whatever. We can buy, for example, I don't know, refreshments for MH training for 20,000, and then you can click here. I'm not sure if this, how in the testing format it's organized. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
This is
here you
like the
can put-
VAT amount
Yeah.
that would be there? Mhm.
And in case of withholding, you can also enter here. When you enter here, I think the you will also have the euro amount. I'm now putting whatever, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's also
So VAT will create a receivable
Yep.
of that amount, and withholding tax, the second option, will create a liability towards the Tax and Revenue Office,
Yes.
right? Mhm.
cost category. Do you have here something like running other operational expenses? Yeah. you can
Yeah,
put
fine.
Whatever. And paid from petty cash
All right.
and funding.
I think this is in 5. You can find something all the way down in the last.
Mhm.
Costs of conferences. Is that okay if you said there's a training or something?
Maybe
Catering.
Catering, yeah.
Hmm.
This would be fine. And post.
And now when you posted receivables and payables, do you see that in the unsettled items too?
Yep.
Cool.
It is in unsettled items, and you can filter here per account to see how much withholding do you have, how much is VAT, and what is not settled yet. So this is very useful option.
Mhm.
Maybe I can also describe a bit how useful is the interface. You can play with this whatever and create whatever view you would like to have as an accountant, or maybe for some external and internal reporting. You can, for example, delete some columns from here. Maybe we don't need posting status, for example, but we need project number, and then you can save it here with whatever name, like HQ export or something like that.
Mhm.
And every time when you need to do export for HQ, if you have this requirement, then you can open this view, or just to create a useful interface for yourself, to not have everything, but only what is needed, what is useful for you. Yeah, I think we showed a lot. And what is also useful in WINPACCS, that the cash book and journals can be used by several cashiers or accountant. You can transfer this with option of returning an exception, the journal. Here, the option accept if the journal is available, and return. So two people cannot work in one time in one journal or cash book, but it's very useful when someone is going on leave and another person is replacing, then you can do this return, accept, and continue work in journal, and not create gaps with monthly closure and entering and whatever. Yeah, this I find also very
Meaning
useful.
when you're on leave to attend the WINPACCS Symposium, somebody else can take the journal
Somebody else can
and do the
enter.
month-end closing then, and it's not you. Cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Also, what I find good, it's that in the cloud, finance manager or controller can block some accounts and transaction type, as you already mentioned, for some projects. With this, if you see that your accountant every month do same mistake with allocating to not correct account, you can make this account not postable for specific project, and also to exclude some transaction types to avoid this transferring between projects, instead transferring between journals and some other stuff. So it's also, I find it very, very useful. And maybe we can explain a bit about the monthly closure, yeah?
Yeah, we can. Do we still have some time? We have 10 minutes. Is there any question in the meantime from the audience in the live stream? No questions, so we can take the time to prepare a month-end closing, you're saying?
Yep. So
Cool.
monthly closing, it's very easy in WINPACCS. Actually, WINPACCS will do all the job automatically, and you need only to make cash counts. With this, you go to report, and here you have cash and bank reconciliation. Other mentioned here list all the reports, they will be generated automatically. I think only balance report sometimes needs some.
Depending on the settings, I
Yeah.
think here it's not required mandatory,
Yeah.
but you can opt if you want this every month, once a year, anything in between, never.
Yeah, otherwise you need to do only cash reconciliation and put go to cash bank reconciliation, click on create new, and here you can do per cash book the cash count.
Mhm.
Yeah, you need to mention the current actual balance. If you have some coupons or post stamps, something that can affect, we do not have usually, yeah.
Nobody has that.
Yeah, and then you check if there is any difference, yeah. And also you need to put the date. In our case, it will be not the end of the month, yeah, but we are talking about.
That's the day when the cash was counted, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if this is.
I think you just need to enter the date, and then it's reconciled already if there's nothing there. Right.
And also here.
That's easy. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then you go to journals.
Postings.
Oh, sorry, postings. And here is monthly closure. Generate. Can we generate it?
Yes.
It will not affect
Let's
your
try it. We do it.
testing system.
We do it.
Yeah, and here you can see whole the list, what is available for generation, which reports will be available. Yeah, I think.
We have just made the cache reconciliation, so maybe you untick it so we don't need to go back.
Okay,
Am I right?
yeah, let's do like that.
And just leave it as it is and then carry on. Yeah, cool.
And what is very good that all these documents related to the closure is then anytime available in the cloud, in the data package. Whatever month is available, so you don't need to go back to the offline version. You don't need to ask your accountants for that information. I mean, if you are controller or finance manager, you can anytime check this information in the cloud. This is very useful. But also it's available here, and depending of the internal regulations, you can print out and add these reports to your monthly closure package.
So you're saying if you create the month-end closing with these reports from your laptop here in Wetzlar at the symposium, now your colleagues in Munich in the head office, they can read the same reports?
Yes.
Cool. That's nice.
I think that's it from my side. Yeah, maybe you have something.
I think that's what we had prepared. So you saw the simple postings and how to manage unsettled items, how to deal with taxes, month-end closings, daily business of accountants, so you get an idea of how that is working. We have some time left, number one, for questions. Are there any questions from you in the audience, in the live stream? No, there are no questions. So time to give us feedback maybe. So let me show you real quick. If you want to download the slides, there are some slides for what we've done. And here's Slido for you to give us feedback how you like this workshop, Insight into the World's Most Successful Project Accounting Software. Slido is open. Thanks for giving us your feedback. And with that, we close that workshop. I think we will meet soon in the main room, in the mainstream again. Am I right? For the conclusion. That's in 5 minutes?
Now 10.
Now in 10. Okay, good. So in 10 minutes, we see each other in the live stream, mainstream channel, and in the main room. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.